Yeah, thank you very much for coming today. Could you introduce yourself to me?
Yeah, I'm Helen Walmsley. I work in VSI, Volunteer Service International, and I'm responsible for the International Volunteer Project Programme. And this project that we're working on today it's a Grundtvig learning partnership, and it's called Volunteering to Enhance Employability with people with disabilities and people over the age of 50.
Brilliant. What have you found from this service or from this project?
Well, if I tell you a bit about the project, it's a Grundtvig learning partnership is one of the European lifelong learning programmes, and it's funded by the European Union. And this learning partnership is with 3 different countries, 3 organisations in different countries. It's Defence for Children International in the Czech Republic, Threshold in Finland, and Volunteer Service International in Ireland. And Defence for Children International, they work on children's rights, but they have a lot of volunteers who are over the age of 50. And Threshold in Finland is a disability organisation. It's a centre for independent living in Finland. And then Volunteer Service International is the Irish branch of Service Civil International, but we work on volunteering. We have volunteer projects in Ireland, and we send volunteers abroad worldwide. And we have different programmes as well. For example, we have a specific programme for young people with fewer opportunities, and we have projects in Ireland which are like short-term volunteering projects where most of the volunteers are from abroad, and they come to Ireland for say like 2 or 3 weeks to work with environmental projects, with kids' summer camps, and say like with projects with people with disabilities. So for example, we have a project in Kushla, the Irish Wheelchair Association Holiday Centre, and then we send people abroad to all different countries, and all different types of volunteering as well. So like I said, they might be working with kids or with adults, or an environment or an arts project or a historical project or something like that.
Very good. And how did it start, or how was it founded?
Well, VSI developed a project with DCI in the Czech Republic, it's another Grundtvig project funded by the European Union, and it's called a senior volunteering project. And so we sent 4 volunteers over the age of 50 to the Czech Republic, and they sent 4 volunteers to us. And the UN classes a senior volunteer as over the age of 50, which to me seems very young. And it's not as if everyone over the age of 50, like 50 to 100 and above, are like, that's 50 years, you know. And so, like, even if it's like someone in their 50s, 60s, or 70s, that's 30 years, and they're going to be very different from each other. So it's not like everyone at 50 is the same. So, but anyway, so we sent these volunteers, and the other volunteers came here, and it was great. It was really interesting. And we were looking at different things about volunteering, and is there like specific particular types of volunteering that would suit someone who's over the age of 50, or or not. And like we found things like, some things that maybe more that people over the age of 50 might be more interested in or something, but actually we found that the older volunteers really wanted to work with younger volunteers as well, rather than like all older people or something, or all say one particular type of project. And they wanted to do different things and work with younger people as well as all different people as well. And so they really enjoyed it, like the international aspect of it and everything, and then the other volunteers coming here. So it was really good. And so so we built up a good relationship with them, and then we were both interested in the topic of like older volunteers and wanted to pursue it further. And then in 2010, and actually just before that, I met Thomas Tour from Threshold in Finland at a seminar which was about the European Voluntary Service Programme, which is another European programme which is for young people aged between 18 to 30, and you can volunteer abroad for from 2 weeks up to 1 year, and it's funded by the European Union, and it's great. It's a really interesting project. It's a really interesting programme, and VSI sends volunteers on EVS projects, and we sent lots of volunteers to all different countries in all different types of work. So this volunteer went to Threshold, and she worked in the office, in the Threshold organisation office, when she visited the sort of different branches and met different people, did some research, like sort of interviewed people and sort of learned about living with a disability in Finland, and sort of compare it to living here, and even things like using public transport in Finland, or what's it like living in Finland, and that. And it was very interesting. And so that's how VSI got to know both the organisations. And so we thought that we discussed it, what would we like to sort of look at further, and we thought that volunteering is a great thing to do, and there's lots of different benefits, and one of those benefits is it can enhance your employability. And we were thinking about employment and volunteering. And in both those areas, people with disabilities and people over the age of 50 are often excluded from volunteering and employment. And so we thought that we would look at it and sort of look at volunteering, employment, how does volunteering help you to maybe find work? And are there similarities and differences between the two categories, because they're both excluded, and between the different countries as well. So, in answer to your question, what have I found? This is a very, very long answer. And so this is the third seminar of 3. And so the first was in Prague and then Helsinki in September, and then this one now. And actually it's interesting because we were talking about it just yesterday, that even though this is just 3 European countries, there's actually lots of different ideas about volunteering and what volunteering is. And which I think is interesting, because that's just these countries in Europe, and they're actually very, very different, and people have different attitudes about it, and sort of people do it for different reasons. And like, it's not necessarily that like someone over the age of 50 is retired and like wants to do sort of active retirement. A lot of people over the age of 50 are out of work, or they want to sort of they might be employed but they want to do something different, or to get a promotion or something. So like volunteering can help them. And then people with disabilities, I think it's often, people with disabilities sometimes have said to me that it's very difficult to volunteer because there's not so many places like volunteer opportunities for people with disabilities, because somewhere isn't accessible, or the type of work isn't suitable or something. But what we try and do in VSI is to try and, we work with individuals and with organisations to try and develop, see what kind of volunteering that they'd like to do, and how we can work with them to try and get that.
Very good, very good. And what would you see the future of this project or service?
Well, I'm really excited about it, and we talked about all these different things, and I feel like I have so many different ideas in my head. I don't know I don't know which ones to do, but I think that lots of different people are talking about different things. And so what we want is for all the participants on this project to think about their own volunteering plan, sort of thing, like what kind of volunteering they would like to do, and think about it with employability, that like what kind of work do they want to do, and what kind of volunteering do they think might help them to get there. And so that's like, whether it's soft skills, like say like getting out and meeting people, gaining confidence by finding your way to a place where you're going to volunteer or something, or like getting yourself out of your comfort zone a bit, but not too much. Like, we're not going to just say, oh yeah, like just push anyone out there with no support, of course. But I think that sort of thing, as well as other things that they would learn, like sort of more practical skills that they might use in a particular job, like IT, or even sort of gardening or photography or something. And so we're going to look at that with people. But like, from this project, we want people to have a look at to think about it and kind of make a personal plan for volunteering, and to really think about what they want to do, where they want to do it, when, how, what they need, all that sort of thing. As well as the 3 organisations looking at what things we might do together. So, for example, the International Day of People with a Disability is on the 3rd of December. And so we're thinking that maybe we could do something around that with the 3 organisations. And so maybe we'll do something in each of the countries at the same time and link up on the web or something. 2 days later is the International Day of Volunteering. And so maybe we could link up both days or do something like that. But we'd also like to develop volunteering projects between the 3 organisations, between the 3 countries, and beyond as well, like for the future, so that people have learned all the things and experienced all these things on this project. And the other thing is, with VSI being the Irish branch of an international organisation, and we have branches and partner organisations around the world, and so we would like to develop places for older people and people with disabilities on the SCI projects. We'd like to increase the places that we have for people, and like learn and sort of explore and sort of see how we can make more of our projects open to people with disabilities.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, and thank you for giving us a great insight into Voluntary Service International.